Good morning, everyone. We're here to talk to you about research tactics for growth teams. And we have a lot of content for you all, so let's dive right in. I'm Carlos. I'm a UX Research Manager at Nubank's growth team.
And I'm Kakau. I'm Design Manager at Nubank's growth team.
And together we are
the Growth Freaks.
So I want to invite you all to come on this journey with us. Firstly, we'll think a little bit about why we believe that growth research requires new UXR research techniques and approaches. Secondly, we'll walk you through an approach that we've created at Nubank, a meta method composed of a variety of diverse research methodologies. And finally, we'll show a little bit about the impact we've had with some pretty jaw-dropping growth results for Nubank.
Okay, so since we're going to talk about Nubank, what is Nubank, right? Nubank was launched in 2014 as a credit card company. 8 years later, we have 1,000 financial solutions for them, and of course, with just one goal, help people reinvent their relationship with money. As part of the growth team, we are responsible just not for acquiring new clients, but making them onboarding and engaging them. So how you can see in this graph, we are growing since day one, and in 2022, we hit 60 million of clients. And 75% of them are using at least one product that we offer, which means that the growth team is working a lot, right? And more than this, Nubank becomes the biggest digital bank in the world.
There we go. So as Kakau has just said, we've experienced some pretty astronomical growth at Nubank in the last couple of years. But getting right into it, I want to walk you through why we believe that this kind of research, growth research, requires new techniques and approaches. Beginning with perhaps the most obvious one, it's that we're a platform team. So we're not allocated within a specific Nubank product or business vertical. So we can work on anything as long as it drives growth for the company. And we need to be able to thrive in the open sea as researchers. So while this is very exciting, it also brings a lot of challenges because since our targets are non-clients and future users, we need to be able to, we rely on limited data, internal behavioral data. So we need to be able to go out there and collect it ourselves. Secondly, and this is perhaps my favorite one, is that growth research requires really elastic thinking, elastic methods, and multidisciplinary approaches. Particularly in contexts and in economies, really emerging economies like Brazil and other Latin American countries. So we need to be able to rise up to the challenge in order to really understand the nuances of a rapidly digitalizing population. So again, we need to know the basics about design and psychology, but also rely on other disciplines such as sociology, anthropology, racial studies in order to understand what's going on with the market and fast regulation changes. Thirdly, since the acquisition and registration flow is really our product, we need to be able to really build our funnel muscles and develop our research toolkit accordingly. What does this mean? The funnel is a very complex thing, and I'll get into that in a second, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot of experiments, a lot of testing. And so as a result, we need to be able to really know and understand when to apply each method in order to gather the best information possible. I want to tell you a little bit about how this research approach was born, because when I arrived at Nubank 3 years ago, I was the only researcher in a very dynamic business unit. And there was a big research debt to be paid. A lot of teams were asking me for a lot of material, a lot of insights right away. And I decided to rely a little bit on my strategic design background in order to pay this research debt, or begin paying it at least, and deliver insights quickly that would develop or inform these roadmaps. We've titled this approach Pesquisona. I'm going to tell you a little bit in a second. But I just want to begin by saying some of the 3 key decisions that I feel made us successful in this approach. Obviously, making fun a priority as a strategy of engagement. Secondly, a remote-first approach. And finally, mixed methods.
Okay, so probably you guys don't have any idea, which means pesquisona, so I'm here to give you a 5-second lesson on Portuguese, okay? So, house in Portuguese is casa. So, if you have a big house, you have a casona, and probably you're rich. But, research in Portuguese is pesquisa. So, if you have a big research, you have a pesquisona. So, that's really quickly to explain Portuguese. So today you learn one word in Portuguese. Two, actually, casa it's one. So pesquisona, in the final of the day, means the big research. And probably it's funnier in Portuguese, but it's really, really cool to explain people how pesquisonas work. And fun is a big motivator for human behavior. Everyone knows this. But adopting a funny and catchy name like this was our first hook to win the stakeholders' engagement. Imagine our CPO saying, I love pesquisona. Because no one knows the research names, right? They have different names. So pesquisona is a really catchy name, and people love it. Everyone in Nubank knows, like, growth team, it's working in pesquisona.
There we go. Our second important decision in the beginning was that obviously we had to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic, and this changed everything. So while it was really intimidating to change all of our research processes from night to day, basically, we saw enormous benefits in taking a remote-first approach. And I know that Lookback is sponsoring this conference, so I do want to give them a shout-out because it really did help us a lot in this transition. But all of a sudden, we could cover all of Brazil's 8.5 square million kilometers. We could research and interview people all across the country at a time where a lot was changing really fast. We could also embed diversity a lot more intentionally and precisely into our interview samples. And finally, we could also engage a lot of our stakeholders a lot more efficiently and dynamically by taking a remote-first approach. So that was really key for Pesquisona. Finally, mixed methods. So as you can see here, Pesquisona really is a meta method, so a method of methods that helps us triangulate information and better understand our users' behaviors in the funnel. It is, again, a battery of methods that allowed us to gather asynchronous and synchronous qualitative data as well as quantitative and behavioral analytics. And I want to take us through that approach. So before I get into the methods, I want to talk a little bit about the funnel. Funnels are amazing, beautiful things, if you can understand them. But to sum it up, this is basically what the funnel looks like at Nubank. In order to help our thinking, we've also divided the funnel into two main parts. So the upper funnel is basically everything that takes the user from when they become aware and consider applying to Nubank, all the way through their application, and finally the registration flow. And the lower funnel is when the user is onboarded, when he or she activates the product, and finally when the card arrives at home. So as researchers, besides understanding a funnel really well, we also need to understand the different kinds of research questions that you can ask at each stage, because they're actually quite different and thus require different research methods to be able to answer them effectively. So this is basically what we've deployed as part of the Pesquisona battery of methods. And you can see that while it can be really useful and helpful to answer some of those awareness, consideration, and application questions through a first in-depth interview, perhaps we really need a usability test to understand a registration flow, and then study onboarding, activation questions through an online diary, a second wrap-up interview, and once the client finally enters Nubank, then we can finally deploy those analytics dashboards and study them. Also, something to note on this slide is that we've applied the Pesquisona methods through a month-long research program. So again, a lot we can cover on the first day, but some of those lower funnel questions really need to be studied throughout time. I wanted to walk us through a little bit of what each of those methods gave us. So obviously, beginning with the first in-depth interview, which has to be my favorite one of them all, really, I think. And a very important thing here is to start building the rapport with those users that will be with us for the first month. You know, talking about money is really hard for most people, and so bringing our empathy superpowers as researchers here is very important, because you have to be able to set up that platform in order for the user to feel comfortable. We could start with our detective work, so gathering information around financial lives and routines, and as well as exploring perceptions about digital banking in general. We also created a really fun highlights reel to disseminate throughout the company. Secondly, the usability test, also very key here. We watch our users go through our funnel in real time. So if you remember anything from this talk today, let it be this: the enormous importance and the enormous benefit that you'll simply get by watching your users go through your funnel in real time. We did not use any prototypes or any kind of simulation. We just went through the real thing with them. And this was really key, because we could understand the end-to-end experience, as well as explore other notions about privacy and security in a highly regulated industry such as financial services. We will also live stream this through everyone who wanted to watch the company, so we could all sort of be in that process together. When we go to the online diary, a couple of things to point out here. We were really interested in gathering asynchronous data when the researcher was not present, so we could better understand the nuances about things like communications, notification strategy, as well as customer service perceptions. And also understand how that Nubank acquisition experience would evolve over time. So we've applied this online diary on day 1, day 5, and day 10. If you know anything about Brazil, you know that it's some of the largest social media market in the world. And so we ran this online diary in WhatsApp. In order to reduce friction, we met our users where they were and also allowed multimedia responses such as voice notes, text, images, and videos. So this was really fun to do in Brazil because it runs on WhatsApp, really. Finally, our analytics dashboards. We became BFFs with all of our business analysts and data scientists in order to set up analytics dashboards that contain different sort of category of behaviors. And we assembled them in order to really look at what our users were doing once they were actually using the product. This became really important in order to triangulate all the data from the interviews, the diary, as well as actual behaviors. And this was obviously really helpful when we were creating our honeymoon period mindsets, as you can see here. Finally, the second wrap-up interview. This was also really fun because now with all this triangulation that we had done, we could ask better questions. We knew a lot of what was going on with our users and their experience in the product, so we could wrap it up with any sort of final hypotheses and final questions that we still had regarding our experience. So after going through the methods, I just want to point out a little bit of the Pesquisona effect, what happened actually once we did all of this. And a lot of powerful things happened, I think, because obviously impactful research like this is nothing without impactful deliverables. So as a customer journey lover, what I did was we went out there and integrated all of this in a live customer journey document. Slide decks can expire relatively quickly, so integrating all this data into a live customer journey was really helpful. We integrated qualitative data, quantitative data, as well as UX metrics and other relevant business metrics to show how this all came together, really, as well as making it easy and map it against our organizational design for accountability and roadmap purposes. This is sort of what it looked like, and I think this is really where my inner architect kind of comes out. We again set up all of our information in this live document, and I just want to walk us through quickly about the structure on this customer journey. So up the top, you can see again that this document matches the customer journey as well as organizational design and our squad organization. In the growth game, really, you have two levers here. You have motivation and you have friction, and you want to increase your motivation as well as, whenever possible, decrease that friction. So we mapped out our gain points and our pain points in order to inform these strategies for our teams. And here at the bottom, we integrated again with our monthly quantitative survey insights as well as other UX metrics, such as customer effort score, which we also measure, and customer support ticket analysis, as well as mapping our registration and our onboarding flow according to Nubank's global product excellence principles. All right, so once all of that was happened, I just want to wrap it up by saying the importance of institutionalizing strategic research. This effort became a sort of state of the funnel exercise for us. And after running it for a couple of years, we've decided to run it every year during Q1. It really became an endless fountain of insights for our teams earlier in the year and allowed us to refocus the BU and our strategies. We also can run it differently every year depending on our growth, strategic segments, build more informed product roadmaps, as well as, again, open up really important space for hypothesis-driven design.
Okay, so things that we always know are going to happen in Brazil, it's Carnival, Pesquisona, and Christmas. Yeah. And I really think you should try this, and of course I'm talking about Pesquisona, okay? Yeah, but why Pesquisona happen every year? Well, the reason it's because the highly affected teams are pretty good in two things. Defining the problem that will have the biggest impact in their company goals and executing a high volume of experiments. So, Pesquisona, and I think you should, thanks. So Pesquisona is not just a discover method, okay? It's the best way, thank you, Carlos. It's the best way to get insights about important user problems and build solid hypotheses. So, because having good hypotheses will lead us not just a high volume of experiments, but a high impact design experiments. And of course, in the final of the day, it's always about design. So we did more than 35 experiments in 2021, and of course, I brought one that I'm really proud to show you how Pesquisona impact our business. So I introduce you the member engaged member, M&M, if you're a close friend, okay? But you guys are close friends, okay? So before I talk about member engaged member, I have to set up some things here, and I will talk about the MGM, which means member get member. When Nubank started as a company, the only way to become a client was through invitation. So if Carlos want to be a Nubank client, he had to find someone and ask for an invitation. Of course, Nubank right now, it's a grow-up girl. We have a lot of channels at acquisition, but MGM is still really, really large in our company, which is really cool, right? Because Nubank doesn't pay users for doing this. We don't give any cash back, nothing. They do this because they love Nubank's experience. So they love the product, they love us, maybe, right? They love everything. So they are doing a lot of MGM every month. So it's one of our largest channel of acquisition. That's all set. We can talk about something that we discovered during Pesquisona. So Carlos was there working, and we start noticing a really cool thing. When someone invites someone to join a bank, people felt responsible for their friend to start. It's like a party. You invite someone, and you're there, taking sure if they're having fun. So in the bank is the same thing. So they invite friends, and they felt responsible for their friends to start. So they are creating by themselves a welcome gift. They are sending to their friends money, their own money. As a company, of course, we saw opportunity here, right? We can allow everyone to do the same, but in a Nubank way. Easy, fun, and fast. And born a star. Thank you, Lady Gaga. Member engage member. So how does it work? Let's use Alec here as an example. Alec, thank you so much because you sent me money here. Alec invites Kakau to be a Nubank's client. And of course, Kakau joins and Nubank notify Alec. And now Alec can send Kakau a special gift. But okay, Carlos invited me here today for two things. To do the slides for him and to show this prototype. So, okay, it was fast. Just let's try again. Okay, no, try again. Okay, try again. Yeah, here it's Alec choosing a gift for me. And learners emoji here. He can personalize a message and then confirm the transfer because Alec is paying, not a bank. And okay, some code, the transfer is happening to me. And that's it. I will receive a gift. Awesome, welcome gift sent. So that's us notifying Alec. So we explain to him like, oh, you save your friend and here he can find a really gift for me. And I like the black one. Thank you, Alec. At the Kakau site, which is me, I received Alec's gift, right? Because I was there, I finished my process, and Alex sent me a gift. So I become an active client because I have money inside my account. And I feel really, really happy. And then I will invite another friend because I want to do the same gesture for a friend, for Carlos, for example, right, Carlos? You deserve. So that's the experience that Kakau is living. She opened the gift, and she can read the message, and she can do two things, sharing the social media, or she can invite another friend. So we notify Kakau. She received the gift, open, and share. 72% of our customers are sharing this on social media. And I believe that's not 100% because a lot of messages are not safe for work. People, right? Yeah. And someone suggests like, maybe you should people could put some photos. And I was like, yeah, no, maybe you shouldn't. Photos probably is not the best use of our time here. But with just one feature, we create micro-loops. A micro-loops of referral, activation, and engagement. So it was a huge success. And when I mean success, these numbers I'm talking about. We activated almost 4 million of clients. We increased our MGM in 15%, and we increased the 6% our engagement. So imagine there are really cool results. And the best result, which is not here, it's because I got a promotion. So thank you, Nubank.
Yeah, if you work with funnels and growth, you know that these are pretty jaw-dropping results. I mean, we throw a huge party whenever we get a 1% increase on anything.
Thank you, Carlos. So this is just one experiment from 1,000 that we have did. I would like to show more, but I don't have time. 20 minutes is the maximum here. So I will talk a little bit about unexpected benefits from Pesquisona, because Pesquisona is awesome. It's helping us a lot to beat the whole OKRs that we have, and believe they are really strong. But they're helping us with things we didn't imagine. So thanks to Pesquisona, the engineer could identify and fix unknown bugs because we are using our funnel in real time. So we can watch it and we can discover, okay, this is not working how it should be. And this happens sometimes. But it's helped us a lot as our onboarding for new hires, because Nubank is growing and we are hiring every day. So it works pretty well, because when people join Nubank and they are thinking, who paid the bills? The growth team is paying the bills. You should watch Pesquisona. So it works pretty well for new hires. And the best part probably is because teams get into collaborating and not thinking in silos anymore. Because how Carlos showed, every part of the funnel has a team taking care. But when we look at Pesquisona, it's just one experience, right? So with this, we can look together and think in solutions together. Sometimes one team can solve the other team problem, and that's the beauty about Pesquisona. And probably the beauty of Pesquisona is collaboration.
There we go, because like Kakau said, so based on insights from this approach, we were able to roll out more than 15 features and more than 35 other experiments. But truly, all of this would not have been possible without collaboration, because nothing happens in a vacuum. So throughout this process, we were engaging general managers, product managers, engineers, business analysts, and many others. We also averaged a 40% stakeholder engagement rate with this approach, which is pretty cool. But wrapping it up, I just want to finalize this talk by remembering what are the key takeaways here. Firstly, again, watch your users. There's nothing more powerful than watching them go through the funnel in real time. This is how you'll understand what is happening, and more importantly, why it is happening. Secondly, know your funnel. So again, it can be a very complex thing, but if you take a strategic design approach, you can try to understand it better, and more importantly, connect the experience, not only for your own understanding as a researcher, but also for your teams. And finally, it is obvious that growth teams care a lot about activation and conversion rates. But you can impact growth with strategic research approach, because this is truly where innovation lies. So thank you all so much for this. That's Pesquisona, the Brazilian way to do growth research.
So if you decided to do a Pesquisona at your company, please don't call big research. It's Pesquisona, it's better for everyone, okay? I'd like to thank everyone, the Growth BU at Nubank, and especially our team, the Design Growth team. We're really, really proud to be part of this, and this is happening just because a lot of people are working with us, okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much.